What's up, guys? Welcome in. Thursday, October 5th, 7 a.m. New York time. This is the 10K to $2 million funding challenge, sponsored by the best in the business bespoke funding program. Glad to be partnered with them. They support the stream incredibly well. In fact, we'll be giving away a 10K challenge tomorrow on tomorrow's live stream to finish out the week. If you're looking to pick up a challenge, obviously use the discount code Venator to get your 15% off discount along with an 85% lifetime profit split on any challenge purchase you use with that discount code. So welcome in. Glad you guys are here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know we have traders all around the world who jump in here every single day, so glad to have you and be a part of it. We're starting back at square one. Yesterday, we started back at square one with a fresh, brand new 10K account. You can check out the playlists on my YouTube page to follow along over the last 100 plus trading days to see the journey we were on to go from a 10K challenge all the way to funding, to purchasing, to getting payouts, to purchasing new accounts, passing new phases, etc. And now we're back. We're back to square one. And we're just kind of chilling right now because it is NFP week. NFP news comes out tomorrow. We have some unemployment news this morning at 8:30. Market here you can see on pound dollar is just kind of winding up and consolidating. I would anticipate you can see on euro dollar much the same activity from yesterday to today. I would not anticipate much more from the market today until after NFP hits tomorrow. So I'm more inclined to just think that everything stays as is on dollar correlated pairs until that NFP news hits. So not that we can't get a setup. This is typically what happens right before you have a big economic news event that comes out. This is not ideal trading conditions. This is just historic data and experience that says this is what happens. This is not good market movement. So even if you see some displacements, it typically drops back down into the range. It's just expanding and engineering liquidity on the top and the bottom until the news events hit and sends the market oftentimes above and below both sides and then off in the direction that it intends to go more long term. So euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar CAD, dollar yen, all the dollar pairs, Aussie dollar, whatever it is, this is my anticipation for the trading session today until NFP tomorrow. So probably not going to spend a ton of time today watching these pairs. I will obviously, I watch all the pairs, but I'm not going to be super giddy about a setup unless it's just super juicy. It's going to have to be primo because it's probably just going to chop. Any movement outside to the buy side or sell side will probably be met with a retracement back into the range. So that's kind of the vibe here. Pound dollar winding up all day yesterday, tonight, last night, overnight. Currently, you get a little grab, you get a little grab, you get a little more grabby. It's very grabby right now. Moving sideways. Dollar coming back down into our 4-hour breaker block. That fair value gap being respected, tapping into the one below it through wicks. We'll see. I don't know what the dollar has in store today. Could dive down lower into a more discount of this trading range that we're currently living inside of and working inside of, which would be right underneath these relative equal lows down here on the hourly time frame. So that makes sense. If it wants to go higher here that's where I would look for price to grab into. Get down into an OTE, get down a little deeper into this daily order block right here on the DXY. So we'll see. This daily order block is our first layer of large resistance. Obviously, the swing level down here, there's liquidity here. Oftentimes, before it fills in gaps or reaches for higher time frame PD arrays, it will come right up to it, pause, retrace down, grab more liquidity, and then continue on to run through this higher time frame target, swing level, relative equal highs, and where we currently sit into this monthly fair value gap up here. Still think that it wants to fill that in. It may not be this week. It may be tomorrow. You get a big pop up just to grab liquidity, and then maybe you start getting a rollover. We are obviously due. We're in a very steep uptrend, creating a ton of sell side liquidity targets and liquidity pools. So at some point, you're going to get a healthy retracement. Don't know when that's going to be. And until we have validation of that with some kind of displacement and market structure shift here, I would continue to remain bullish on DXY. There's nothing going on that would make me feel that that's ready to switch. GJ, Bank of Japan has begun intervention, so I would continue to think that sell side targets are in place below big swing levels. Obviously, our first large targets here. So I'm going to, I'm going to keep a little bit of a bearish bias here on GJ. This was the big move, first intervention that it had earlier this week. Came back up, have rebalanced that fair value gap here. Still trading inside this range here. We have failed to take and displace out this high. Any move higher, we did grab some sell side. We've pushed up, taken out some buy side here on the hourly, but we failed to displace lower below this low. Also kind of just winding up tightly right now. So a lot of sideways action here on GJ. On the 15-minute time frame, you have grabbed a little bit of a higher POI here into the buy side liquidity. You've reached back up after this break of structure here. Did tap into this breaker in this fair value gap, and it's starting to head lower. For me, if you get some displacement below that low right here, you could potentially look for this as a breaker setup. You've run buy side liquidity there. This is the down here is again another breaker. So just there's a lot of breakers inside breakers. It is kind of moving sideways. It's winding up. I'm not super thrilled with the price action you see here, but I'll keep an eye on this. Pound Aussie. My anticipation for this week was that we were going to pull back up inside this fair value gap and potentially into that volume imbalance, which we did. We called that out at the beginning of the week. And I said I would be looking to sell after it got in there. I took the first sell yesterday, and I thought that was gonna be the high of the week was in after we tapped into it one time. Took that sell, and then we got run out right here off of that sell right there. It did make a new high yesterday, finished, tapped up into that volume imbalance, and now we're getting some displacement lower here. We've pulled back up into it, and now we're heading down lower. So currently, I'm still going to keep my bearish bias on GA here. This is your breaker. This is your last down move before we've run an old short-term high. If we get displacement through that, you could look for sells in and around here for GA to head lower into these lows. And again, I still think it's coming down in here. I think this is your smart money reversal right here that's happening currently right there. This was your low risk sell. So as you get more displacement down, you're going to continue to come down. I think we're going to come back down into these lows. Market maker sell model. Go look it up. I'm not going to go through the whole steps of it. It's not specific to the strategy I trade, but it is an overall the way price moves. It is a market maker sell model. Consolidation moves up, takes out old highs. Once it does, you get your smart money reversal. You get a change of structure. You get your pullback into fair value gaps, and you're going to head lower. These are the lows. So my guess is it pops down through here, comes back in, consolidates, manipulates, keeps doing that until we take out these lows. So I'm going to be looking for sells on GA. Currently, this is the breaker I would be watching to see if we get displacement through. Will that be a potential setup there? Don't know. None of this. This is the thing with trading is there's no certainty, and that's what causes traders so much pain, is the lack of certainty. This is a game. This is a business of probabilities. This whole endeavor is all about probabilities and you finding and identifying setups, patterns, whatever it is that you are building your strategy around that can, in some form or fashion, consistently, and that word consistently has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people, but can consistently predict certain moves, either short term or long term, that you can capitalize on. And the uncertainty that you have when you're doing your analysis is what causes so much pain and turmoil, because we just need to know the right answer. If we just could know, and you're never going to know. And you have to get okay with never being able to truly know. This is a business of probabilities. Everything that you're doing, it's all about probabilities. Your analysis is going to be right or wrong a certain percentage of the time. And the hope is that when you are right, you are winning and making more profits than the same amount of times that you are losing. That is the goal. So we'll watch on GA. Again, dollar yen pairs winding up here. I think I probably, with a bullish dollar and a bullish yen, knowing Bank of Japan wants to step in, I don't know exactly what to do with UJ, because it's obviously in a massive uptrend, just like GJ is. Dollar is still very strong. Yen, though, is trying to fix its currency. So what does that mean for dollar, for UJ? Potentially chop. We get into a strength of currency battle. And yen trying to strengthen itself is going to try to push it down. Dollar remaining bullish. I could see a scenario wherein UJ gets pretty choppy here over the next couple weeks until we figure out if dollar wants to have a reversal in October and kind of pull back from all of its massive run. Then yeah, UJ's got a lot of room, just like GJ does. If dollar wants to remain strong and yen wants to remain strong, you could see some chop in here, just back and forth, while GJ trends a little bit lower, I think. All right. There it is. Quick 15-minute rundown of what I am looking for today. And of course, we have at 8:30 this morning, we have unemployment claims coming out. So I'm not going to do anything for sure until after 8:30. And even then, at least on dollar pairs, non-dollar correlated pairs, GJ and GA, we can take trades on. There's no red folder news event that would prevent me from taking a trade on those two. But euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, all of those, I would be on the sidelines until after 8:30, about an hour and 15 minutes from now. So Dusted and done. All right. Alpha Bridge, Adrian, John, Shadow Trades, Alfie, Mr. Beeswax, Red Ezekiel, Indeed Friends, Chase, and H. You guys are in first in the chat today, and good morning to you guys. Thanks for being here and being in the chat and being active. As always, continue to be so grateful for the way you guys show up every single day. Stream wouldn't be what it is without you. And I'm grateful for your presence here and for the way that you interact in the chat. So thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, tomorrow we will do our weekly 10K account giveaway. So we'll just keep doing the same way we have been doing. I think Twitter Picker is still down, so we'll probably end up using the YouTube comments like we've done in the past, but I'll let you know tomorrow on the stream exactly how to qualify for that drawing. It will be simple and it will be clear. And I'm not sure what time. Probably we have NFP tomorrow is 8:30, I think. Yeah. So we'll probably do it after NFP. So probably like, I don't know, 9 a.m. will probably be the draw tomorrow. Oh, goodness. All right. What are we talking about today? What do we need to cover? What do we need to hit on? Oh, what's the update on the Rugby World Cup? Is that thing over? Is it still going on? Did Ireland win? Did South Africa win? What's the status on the Rugby World Cup? We have not heard an update in a while. Baseball playoffs have officially started and begun. We're 2 days in, which reminds me I needed to see. I did not keep up with I was busy last night. My wife and I had some plans with her parents. My in-laws are actually going to Ireland. They're leaving this Sunday. They're heading off to Ireland. I think they're doing like a 10-day trip up and around that part of the UK. So I'm a little bit jealous. Let's see. Where are the scores? Here we go. MLB. Rangers, dang, putting it on the Rays, whooped them. They won the series and moved on. That's crazy. And Minnesota has won their series. They beat the Blue Jays. So we get the Twins, and the Orioles get the Rangers. Wow. I'm actually kind of glad we get the Twins. I prefer playing the Twins over the Blue Jays. But I'm surprised that the Rangers whooped up on the Rays in their home stadium so badly. They killed them two games in a row. So Astros will start Saturday, game 1. We get the Twins for I think it's a 5-game series, best of 5 for the division series. But the Rangers Orioles would be a great one. Let's see who else is. Phillies and Braves, Diamondbacks and Dodgers. Wow. This is a really good baseball playoff lineup. I mean, I really do think the best teams are in it. The best teams that have a chance to win are still in it. So it's going to be a good next couple of weeks for Major League Baseball. Playoff baseball is fantastic to watch. So Saturday is game 1. Sunday game 2. Monday's an off day. Then Tuesday is game 3. Wednesday's game 4. And then Friday would be game 5. So game 4 and game 5 may not even be necessary, but Saturday it starts for the Astros. Very cool. The Rays had an incredible season, and they just got run 2 games in a row, and now they're gone. Off to the beaches for the rest of the offseason. And there's like 3 weeks left. 3 weeks? My God. Ireland needs to beat Scotland on Saturday or lose by less than 8 to go through to the knockouts. Is that looking good for them, Owen? Is it likely that Ireland beats Scotland? Are they rivals? I would think they're pretty close together, so they would be rivals, right? Ireland and Scotland. What's up, Java Trader? Welcome in, buddy. How's that 10K challenge going? Or no, 25K challenge. You got a 25K. How's that going? You won that with the anniversary giveaway. Alpha Bridge, Assassin's Creed Mirage out now today, so it's time to play some AC. Man, I haven't played Assassin's Creed. I loved that game, and I played the crap out of it early on. One of the earlier sequels. I can't remember which one. But I haven't played it in a long time. But it is a cool game. So I'm not even really sure where it is in the franchise right now. But that sounds fun. Mr. Alfie, last pool games this weekend, quarterfinals next weekend, semis the weekend after that, and the final on October 28th. These are just individual matches, right? There's not like, this is like considered knockout rounds now, so it's win or go home. It's not like you play a series of matches. Like in baseball, the playoffs are a 3-game series or a 5-game series or a 7-game series. Like in the championship rounds and in the World Series rounds, it's series. But I'm assuming it's not like that, right? It's just knockout, win or go home. What's up, Corey? Welcome in. Adrian, I don't understand baseball. Oh man, happy to help you understand it. I love it. It's so good. And it's a huge game, but I think we'll get it done. Mr. Alfie says, went to watch the Blue Jays in Toronto, didn't have a clue what was going on, but had a good time with beer. Those around us were trying to explain. Happy to fill you in on all of the baseball madness. Next time you come over, let's go to an Astros game. And I'll not only buy you the beer, but I'll also help you out and get you some Astro swag. Lee says, I don't think Scotland have beat Ireland by 8 points before, have they? Afternoon, Lee. Good. Welcome in. Lee, how's the challenge going? Mr. Alpha, you play each team in your pool, then the quarters onwards are knockout. Okay, so we're into the knockout stage. So we're finishing up pool play, if I understand it correctly. We're finishing up pool play, and then we go to knockout rounds. Now, where is this all centrally somewhere, or is it is there a host country for the World Cup, or is it just everyone's traveling around? Is there like a home team? Does somebody have a home field advantage here? I need to get give me some of the information here. We'll take you, but yeah, come on, man, let's go. Yeah, let's do it. NASA, Astros, crazy. There's so much to do here in Houston. It's the most multicultural city in the world, man. There is the best food from all over the world is here in Houston because this is the most multicultural city in the United States. There's over 200 languages that are spoken in the Houston area, over 200 different people groups and countries. Well, I don't know if countries, but definitely languages. And it's the melting pot of the world is here in Houston. There's just so much going on. Oil and gas, you got NASA, engineering, you've got the best, probably one of the top 2 or 3 medical centers in the world here in the Houston Medical Center. It's everything you need. It's right here. Now, it's not pretty. if you want pretty, you're going to have to go to Colorado, California. You're going to have to go somewhere else. It's not pretty. All right. You're not going to be blown away by the landscape. And it's hot as hell. Actually, it's starting to cool off. We're honestly, honest to God, Houston weather from October until probably late April, mid-May. From the middle of May until the end of September, it is hot as balls. It's hell. It's oppressive heat. It's miserable. You don't want to be outside at all. But from October until like the beginning of May, it is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous weather. So now is a really good time to get down here. But come on, anybody that wants to come to Houston, let me know. Buy you a beer. Show you around town. Happy to do it. France is the host, I guess. So how's France's rugby team? Are they still in it? Are they going to make it to the knockout round? And what's like average attendance for a rugby match? I'm trying to put it in perspective for the sports events here in the States. John, I didn't say that you don't have good food in Kansas City, John. I just said all of the best food from around the world you can find here in Houston. I swear to God, we have a Kansas City barbecue, probably multiple Kansas City barbecue joints here in Houston somewhere. So if you're still on the Kansas City barbecue is best, I can find it here in Houston for you. The AC lore is so complicated now, hard to follow the nitty-gritty details, to be honest, but still tons of fun. It's a great game. It's a classic, man. They built a massive franchise with Assassin's Creed, so I mean, they have a massive fan base. They're gonna ride that. They're gonna ride that wave until it crashes on the beach some years from now. So, challenge is going okay. I was plus 4.5, but then I was a bit silly and took 2 unnecessary losses. So I'm still, hey, up 2%, man. That's awesome. Way to go. France are probably top 3 to win. Really? So France, host country, is a favorite to win. Double humph. I thought you said you had the best food, Kansas City barbecue. I just think just because it's not actually in Kansas City doesn't mean that it's not Kansas City barbecue. There are transplants. It's very, 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 very hard to find anyone that was born here and raised here and has lived here their whole life. My wife has. Her parents still live in the same house that she was born in 40 something years ago. They were transplants. And now my wife has been here. I was a transplant. That most people that you run into here in Houston came from somewhere else. There are very few native greater Houston residents. So Houston, there's Houston and then there's greater Houston, right? So you've got Houston, which by the way, Houston is just a massive city. It basically has 3 different downtown sections if you're looking at it. Like if you're driving into it, it's sprawled out. Like it takes you an hour, at least an hour, to get from north to south, north of Houston to south of Houston, or west of Houston to east of Houston. It's an hour-long drive. It's just super sprawl and massive areas of growth and downtown areas. And then you have greater Houston around it, which is all where everybody lives around Houston. Like where we are, you've got Clear Lake, you've got Sugar Land, you've got Missouri City, you've got Katy, you've got Jersey Village, Spring, the Woodlands. I mean, all of these areas all around Houston. And it's just, and there's stuff to do all through there. It's just a massive little world unto itself. But again, if you want to live somewhere pretty, Houston is not where you want to be. I mean, it has its own certain beauty to it, just not the physical, natural beauty that you would find in other parts of the country. Oh, it says, John, we have a meal in our local takeaway called Kansas City Pita. What is Kansas City Pita? Is that barbecue? Lee, depends on the size of the stadium, but Twickenham, England's home stadium is about 80,000. Okay. So that's a good size. Like baseball stadiums here in the States are going to be probably tops like 42K. Most of them are probably in that 30 to 40,000 seat stadium range for a baseball stadium. Football stadiums are probably, well, it just depends. There's some college football stadiums that have 100,000 seats in them. Probably NFL is probably in that 50 to 60K range, 70K maybe for a football stadium. And those basketball stadiums, arenas, an arena, like an indoor basketball arena is probably 15 to 18K, I'm guessing, for a basketball arena. What other? Soccer. So soccer, it just depends because a lot of soccer teams are playing inside of, like Houston. We have a MLS team here in Houston, the Houston Dynamo. They have their own stadium. It's right next to Minute Maid Park, where the Astros play. And I don't know what the seating capacity is for the Dynamo, but it's I'm guessing probably around 15,000 max. It's not a big stadium. It looks cool, but it's not a very big stadium for a soccer venue. Now, there are some cities that double up and they'll use their football stadiums to double up as a soccer field. And so obviously those are going to be a lot bigger. But most of those don't fill up yet here in the States for soccer matches. But a lot more cities are building their own independent soccer venues. And it's picking up steam. I'm from Illinois. I'm a good old Midwestern boy, born and raised in the soybean fields of Decatur, Illinois, right in the freaking middle of Illinois. Spent a lot of time up in Chicago. My dad's side of my family was from Chicago, specifically Gary, Indiana, which is like at one point was the murder capital of America there for a little while. Maybe still is. I'm not sure. It wasn't when we were growing up there. We spent a lot of time up there. Saw many a day game at Wrigley Field with the Chicago Cubs. But that's where I was born and raised until I was in junior high. And then we moved to Texas when I was in high school. And then I've been here ever since. And all my family is still here in Texas, except my brother. He's in the Air Force. He moves all over the place. He's a chaplain in the Air Force currently, a lieutenant colonel. And currently in Oklahoma. But yeah, Illinois, man. Grew up in the cornfields, the bean fields, the soybean. Soybean was the big thing where we were at. It was out in the middle of nowhere. It was quite a culture shock for me as a 8th grade junior high kid. We moved in the semester transition of my 8th grade year. I was in a private school, and up until that point, I had basically gone to school with the same 12 kids in my class from the time I was in kindergarten until I was in 8th grade. And we moved over the Christmas break from Illinois to Houston. And when school started in the spring or in January, I I went to an intermediate school, junior high school here in the Houston area. Culture shock, man. The eighth grade class that I was in had like 400 students in it, and it was crazy. It was the worst. That was the worst time of my life as a young kid trying to grow up. And junior high already sucks. Junior high is the worst stage of life. That those early preteen years. God, sixth, seventh, eighth grade is miserable. And that's when I was just thrown into it, and it sucked. But then high school was great. Loved high school, and everything's been fine since. And I love being here. The KC pita is a barbecue chicken and a pita wrap. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That is an interesting twist to try to make the Kansas City barbecue edible. Shots fired. That's for international games. League games is a lot less. Exeter Chiefs, the local premiership team I support, is 15K. Well, that's about that 15K. I was thinking 80K. My God, that's rugby's like on par with NFL size stadiums. Oh, in Kansas City, pita, that seems odd to me. That would be like a restaurant where you're from called Belfast Burrito. Last time I went to see my local team, Doncaster, there were about 1,500 there, but the ground would hold about 5,000. It's only a small town. Okay. So is Doncaster, is that like a minor league team, or are they like even considered like on a professional tier level team? Or is that like a feeder, a farm team for a larger club? John, final warning. It's oh, jeez. Get him, Owen. Don't let John bully you. Call him John. Just call him Hang Dong, or I think now we could just call him KC Pita. That's what we'll call him from now on. KC Pita. I love it. What's happening? Anything going on in the trading world? No, nothing is going on. About GJ, nothing. GA, nothing. Dollar yen, also nothing. All right. How about some more FX replay? Who's up for continuing on with our little back test session we started yesterday? We could pick up where we left off, go through February a little bit. We might be able to do some of that. Donnie, we're in the second tier, but that was a while ago. Gotcha. Watch a movie. We could watch a movie, but it's just hard because you can't. I still haven't figured out how to stream YouTube audio to this. I've tried and I've done what I think I've been supposed to do, and I still can't figure it out. And I think it's because the way that I have my mic set up and the way I have the headphones set up, I can't monitor the audio and also stream the other audio from that. At least I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And it's probably something very simple and stupid that this almost 50-year-old guy just can't figure out. Mr. Alfie found Blazing Saddles on Sky TV. Well, you are welcome, sir. Let's hear about it, Mr. Alfie. What did you think? What did you think about Blazing Saddles? I am so curious to hear this. What's up, Shadow? Good evening. Oh, you've already. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had already seen it. So you've seen it before. Want to show it to my son? Yeah. How old is your son? That's a good question, John. Very a very good question. Because depending on his age, you're either trying to indoctrinate him or you're actually trying to enjoy a comedy with him. He's 12, but it's educational. Hey, man, starting at an early age, starting at an early age with a healthy dose of sarcasm and parody, understanding parody and sarcasm, I think it's fantastic. Blessings to you on that. I think more people, this world would be a lot easier to live in if people didn't get so offended all the dang time. Oh, my wife got me a new candle. What is this? I'm a candle guy, by the way. I love a good smelling candle. Teak wood and oak. Teakwood, oak, and lavender. Oh my goodness. That is nice. I may have to fire that up. That is really good. Nice job, babe. She's not even here. Remind me to thank her later. That smells awesome. A historical documentary. I mean, yeah, it is. It is historical in nature. I'm not sure the accuracy, but hilarious nonetheless. Every time I tried to show something old but funny to my kids, they hated it. Mr. Alfie, he's got a very grown-up sense of humor, and also you can get worse online, so would rather he watched it with me and I can explain what he doesn't understand and put it in context. I think that's the job of pretty much, that's a fairly general description of parenting in general, is helping your kids process life in a healthy way. Like, that's basically it. Like, helping them filter and understand what the hell's going on and why it's happening. That's parenting in general. So I agree with you. I'd much rather watch something like that with my kids so I can explain why things are funny and why they're not offensive and why you shouldn't be offended when someone makes fun of something about your culture or your understanding. Like, you've got to be able to laugh at yourself. You've got to be able to have a healthy sense of humor and laugh at yourself. I love it when people poke fun at me. I think it's freaking hilarious. Take your shots, man. I'm all for a good joke because I can dish it out and I can take it. And in the end, I don't think so highly of myself that I can't take a joke. Like, it's a joke. And yes, words that you can hurt people. I understand that. I know you can hurt people with your words. You can say things intentionally to harm others and cause mental and emotional damage intentionally. I know you can do that. And I think you should not do that. I think that is wrong. But I also think that, in general, most people are just so uptight anymore. Like, it's just your feelings. Like, don't hurt my feelings. When did feelings become the ultimate determination of the arbiter of truth? When did that happen? Because can we go back? Can we rewind and go back and make it so feelings are not the arbiter of truth anymore? How do we do that? He's 100% agree. People get way too. Yeah, they just thin-skinned people anymore, man. It's just like, don't offend me. Don't do anything that's going to offend me. Well, what's offensive to you? Well, I get to decide. What? If everybody gets to decide what's offensive, then everything is offensive. It's like, do you not see the insanity of this? It's offensive to me that you find that offensive. So apologize to me, please, right now. I'm offended by your offensiveness. It's just asinine. It's like we've lost all semblance of common sense. Alpha, yeah, but everybody's saying that, yeah, sure, I can take a joke easy, then next day the drama starts. I know. I really can take a joke. I think it's hilarious. Take your shots, man. I'm all for it. I laugh. I am very aware that I am not perfect. I am a flawed human being. I am a broken person. I have weaknesses and strengths, and if you find some way to point out the humor in that, then I would love to hear it because I think it's hilarious. I don't take myself. We should stop taking ourselves so seriously. They get offended on other people's behalf, which offends me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you can just claim offense at anything, and no one can say you're not. Like that's the whole insanity of it, is that there is no truth. Like no one can go, no, that's wrong. That's not offensive. You just have to say, I'm offended. That's all it takes. And now I don't know, you're put into some special class of something. Protected. Treated differently. Above and beyond everyone else. Because you have declared offense. All right, I don't want to get into all the... I mean, we already did, but I don't want to do it anymore. We'll chill on the attacking cultural weaknesses right now. It's cool. It's fine. I don't want to offend anyone on the stream. All right. So nobody, no interest in the FX replay. Cool with that. We don't have to do it. We can keep just chilling and watching candles print. It's fine. I'm good with that. Choppity chop chop, boys and girls. Choppity chop chop. Everywhere is chop. Choppity chop there. Choppity chop there. Choppity chop there. It's just... oof. Waiting for this hour candle to close. Maybe we can... we'll get to the news here in about 45 minutes. Maybe we can find something else. Oh, goodness. More rain today here in Houston, which is not good. I was going to go ride my bike today. That ain't going to happen. I've got heavy rainstorms in the Houston area today from about 8 a.m. until about 2 or 3 p.m. It's going to be really wet outside. So I was going to take my dogs to doggy daycare, but now I don't know because we have this awesome, I know that sounds crazy. We have 2 large golden doodles that live in the house. Maggie is over 100 pounds. Remy is about 80 pounds. And we get them out and they stay active. But right literally about, I don't know, less than half a mile from our house, there's this awesome dog park. And you can go just drop your dog off at this dog park. Now they have kennels, like they can stay there overnight, but it's huge. And they have like a Olympic sized swimming pool. They have all these crazy like fountains that like shoot sprinklers that shoot water out. They have this massive field. And then they have pavilions that are covered with dog beds everywhere. It's just this crazy cool place that you can go let your dog be social. And literally there will be probably 50 or 60 dogs running around out there every single day. So you can just go drop your dog off in the morning. So when we moved into the townhome, we lost our large backyard. And so they don't have, unless we leash them up and take them out on long walks, which we do every single day. But you can still just tell they've got some energy. They need to get it out. So you can go pay like, I don't know, I think it's like $40, $40 or $50. And they just go. We'll drop them off at like 8 in the morning, and we'll just go back at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and pick them up. And they are worn the hell out, and they sleep for like 2 days. And we were thinking about doing that today, but now with all the rain, it may not be a great day to do that. They'll probably just keep them all up. They have a huge indoor air conditioned like gym area where they just bring all the dogs inside, and they have all these dog things to play with inside there, and they just run around inside too. So if it gets hot, they can take them inside. They let them out. They go out, play in the water, run around, do all the doggy things that they do. But now it may not be a great idea to take them over there today, I think. John says, as a parent, it's been incredibly difficult to raise my kids that their opinion isn't always right. Oh, that's 100%. Letting your kids realize that they are not right all the time it's definitely a challenge. We can do FX replay. Got sidetracked getting angry about being offended. I tried back testing your strategy over August and was minus 1.1%. Interesting. What pair did you use, Mr. Offie? My dad has 2 opinions, his opinion and the wrong one. Yeah. If I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. That's the way my dad thinks. If I want your opinion, I'll let you know what it is. Used EU as you showed us yesterday on the 10-minute time frame, targeting 1.5. Cool. Let's go look at it. Let's take a look. We can do February. We can just pick back up. I'll pull it up here. There you go. Here's February. Get rid of it automatically pulls in a set number of indicators every single time. So let's see. We ended yesterday. This is the end of January. Oh, I need to switch my UTC to. You have to do this every single time. It's frustrating. I wish it would just pull up where you left it off. All right. So we're using inverted fair value gap on the 10-minute time frame. We're going to go to the next day. This was Tuesday, January 31st, right here. This is the end of January where we left off. Go to the New York session. We're going to wait for a fair value gap to form. If there's red folder news, we're not going to trade. We've got red folder news at 8:10. You've got red folder news at 10. And you've got red folder news interest rate. So there won't be any trades on this day because you've got news all day long with a Fed interest rate. We're just going to skip. This is Wednesday, February 1st. We're going to skip it because there's too much red folder news. So we're just going to go to the next day, to Thursday. There's your red folder news. So here we are on Thursday. Now we're looking for Thursday, February 7th, our 2nd, 7 a.m. We're waiting for a fair value gap to form after the 7 a.m. candle opens. Once you get your first fair value gap to form, you're going to wait for that fair value gap to be violated, and then you're going to take a touch of that fair value gap as a test. So This whole inverted fair value gap, why, what is it, what's it about, why does it work, why am I using it? It's basically just a breaker from a lower time frame. So you're getting displacement. The fair value gap is showing you that you're running liquidity in one direction on a lower time frame. So if you see a fair value gap, it's running liquidity on a lower time frame. As soon as that fair value gap gets violated and traded back through, that's displacement in the opposite direction. And so a test of that would be your breaker on a lower time frame. You're just using a higher time frame fair value gap to identify it. You're not dropping down to the lower ones and watching all those candles print. You can try this with a 5-minute candle. You can try it, back test it with a 15-minute candle, a 30-minute candle, or an hour candle. I like the 10-minute because you're probably going to get a setup almost every single day, depending on what pairs you're trading. The higher time frame that you go, you're not going to get a setup every single day, but they might actually be more highly probabilistic to work out. That's the underlying theory behind inverted fair value gaps. Okay. In the wise words of Dwayne Johnson, know your role and shut your hole. All right, here we go. So we're just going to start printing candles until we'll mark out every fair value gap, and we'll go through and see what happens. No fair value gaps anywhere yet. Still no fair value gaps to be had. If we don't get a trade by 11 a.m., an entry by 11 a.m., we will just pass and go to the next day. All right, so there's the first fair value gap of the day is printed at the 8:50 to 9 o'clock candle. If that fair value gap gets traded through a body close above that fair value gap, that is where we would look to go long. Another fair value gap, 9:20 to 9:30. We're getting into the 10 o'clock hour, so the chances that you get a full trade through on these may be less likely today. You're at 9:40 right there. $10.40, $10.50, 11 o'clock, no trade today. So we'll just go to the next trading session. We have news at Friday, 8:30. You have non-farm payrolls. And then at 10, you have ISM. Likely not going to take a trade. Definitely not until after NFP. So we'll just fast forward through NFP. There's NFP. There's obviously your first fair value gap after the red folder news event. With ISM at 10, I'd probably just wait until after that as well. So I'm just going to push pause here. Almost to that 10 o'clock hour. There's your ISM news. Small little fair value gap right there. Traded through that fair value gap. We would take, it's 10.40, so it's coming to the end, but we're going to go ahead and take that. It does fit the criteria. Candle that created the fair value gap is actually down here. Is that right? This candle, this candle, this candle. Yeah. Triggered in. It's probably so close to 11. We took a stop loss on that. It's so close to 11. I'm going to take it just because it met the criteria that it was under. It was before 11. But either way, took the stop there. Back down to 9% on the account. Going to the next day here in New York. What's up, Moby Dick? Welcome in. Doing some back testing on FX Replay while we're watching those candles. Let me just pull this back up here. We will just quickly, as that hourly opens, I'm just going to just jump back through here real quick. New 15-minute candles opening up. Yeah, nothing. We're good for another 15 minutes. All right, so we're here at the 7 a.m. New York Open. This is Monday, February 6th, start of a new week on this specific strategy. So here we go. We'll wait for a fair value gap to be created after the 7 a.m. And you get your first fair value gap right there. You get another fair value gap here. Sorry. No body closure yet below that. There it is. And so now you're going short on a test of that fair value gap. TP back up to 12% overall. Next day, we have a news event at, what is that? What is this? So I would take a trade because this is after the 11 o'clock hour. I'll take a trade here if it's early, but if we don't have a trade by 11, I would not, obviously, if it was close to the end of the session, I wouldn't be taking this because of Powell's speech at 12:40. So there's the 7 o'clock open. Probably a lot of chop because of Powell's speech, but we'll see. Fair value gap. Traded through. If it retests there, then we will get in on a retest of that fair value gap with 1.5. No bias, just purely mechanical. Stop loss hit back to 10% on the account overall. Waiting for new day Wednesday here. Fair value gap, no news, so we can trade through the whole session. Not a body closure above. That is not that's just a wick. The body has to close above to violate. There's a fair value gap right there. Traded through it, so now we would be looking to go short on a test of that. Oh, didn't get the test. There it is. Wicked us in. Bam. Loved it. TP back to 13%. GFX, welcome in. Late today, yesterday, been disqualified due to hedging. Oh, man. Well, why did you hedge? Don't do that. That's unfortunate. We're just doing some back testing right now on a inverted fair value gap strategy. This is EU. We're in the month of September. The account is up to 13% from the beginning of January. We go to the next day. 7 a.m. candle just printed right there. And now we're waiting for a fair value gap to form. And there it is right there. Whoops, don't want that. There's another one. What time is it? It is 9:30, so we still have some time. No body closures through any fair value gaps here. 10 a.m. There's your first closure there. It is still under the 11 o'clock hour, so we can take that trade. Set up. All right, so there's another new fair value gap here. So here's the thing. We just traded through this fair value gap as well. You have multiples. So look, I'm going to trade that one right there. I'm going to now cancel this order, and I'm going to take a test of this fair value gap. So these three candles, so my stop is above this candle here. Which means if this trade loses, we will have traded through this fair value gap, but we can't take a retest of that. It's also 10:30, so we'll see what happens. Oh, I got to place the order. Here we go. Triggered in. TP. We're up to 16%. Next day. Trading both ways at the same times. Yeah. Why is it worth disqualification from a prop firm challenge, I presume? It's just that they don't. So you could have two accounts and you could basically go full leverage on both accounts and go long on one, go short on the other. You're going to blow one account, but you're going to hit a home run on the other. They just can't manage risk that way. That there's no way for them to do that effectively. So they just they don't allow it. Now if you were trading your own personal account and you want to do that, that's your own personal account. So you can hedge all you want on your account because brokers don't give a crap about your personal funds. But for a prop firm who's really prop firms are in the business of data collection so that they can monetize that data collection feed. That's really the way that they're going to make the most money, either off of their own personal accounts or giving that data to someone else, selling that data to someone else. So they don't allow the hedging. We're in February right now. We're on February 10th, Owen. Here we are, Friday. We have news on Friday at 10 a.m., which is Michigan Consumer Sentiment. I will trade through the Michigan Consumer Sentiment report. I won't wait. 7 a.m., go to the next candle. All right, here we go. Fair value gap. No fair value gap here. These wicks overlap. Fair value gap here. Okay. Traded through this one all the way. We're about to violate this one as well. We will start here. I don't know that we're going to get this entry, but we'll start here. But my guess is this one's going to pop up above that. Nope. Almost got wicked in. Did not. Now wicked in. Didn't hit the stop loss. TP. 19%. $7 a.m. candle. There's no news. I'm wondering if that is news though, but we'll just watch and wait. I'm not sure what's going on there. That is a Monday. Another fair value gap here. Small baby gap. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just, you know, get close there. No violation. No violation. Violated. A body closure below is the violation. Let's keep it at swing high. It's fine. It's close enough to the swing high. We'll keep it there. Triggered in. TP. 22%. Where the hell did it go? My God. News at 8:30. So we will CPI. So we're definitely not going to trade until after that 8:30 news comes out. We'll just watch it go. And there you go. There's your CPI news. We've got news coming up at 15 minutes. This next 15-minute candle is about to close. We'll stop and pause and go look. 13% is January versus 2% aim for 1.5. Yes, that's correct, Owen. We are risking 2%, going for a 1 to 1.5, and we're using an inverted fair value gap strategy that we discussed on yesterday's live stream. So basically, you're waiting for a fair value gap to print after 7 a.m. New York time. If there's news, you wait until after the news. Once the fair value gap is violated, you take an entry on the retest of that fair value gap with a 1.5 risk reward. Is this the way you trade, Owen? I was going to ask the same. Be careful, guys. Some information has appeared on the internet that Bespoke funding program it is potentially a scam will close in a couple months. In the meantime, the company is closed. Leveled Up Society. Bespoke is not going anywhere. They are not a scam. All right. So now we wait. We've got our first fair value gap created here after the news. If we don't get a trade entry by 11, we don't trade. So it's 9:10. So we're still within the window of operation. There's another. Oh, that's not a fair value gap. Those don't overlap. I mean, they touch. If I can't see it, I ain't gonna take it. There's a fair value gap. It is now 9:30, and there's your violation. Shake that. Stop below 1.5. Did not get a closure above this one yet. So we're not going to take a retest of that just yet. We have to have a body closure above. There it is. So this one got completely waxed. So we'll take this off. And now it is 10:10. And we'll be looking to go long off of that. This fair value gap, this candle here is the low. 1.5. Triggered in, stop loss. Down to 20%, back down to 2,000. Yeah, we're at 20%. New York news at 8:30. This is retail sales, so we will wait until after those numbers come out. There's your news. Now we wait for fair value gap. And it's now 10:50, so there's no trade. We go to the next day. This is Thursday, February 16th. There's your fair value gap. There's another fair value gap. This one was no body closure above. What time is this? 9:20. Now into the 10 o'clock. Violation. Oh, it did not trigger it in. We did not get a full retest of that inverted fair value gap. Now that one, we will take this off because it violated the fair value gap above it. And we will now, what time is this? 10:30. So coming into the late part of that, this fair value gap was created by 1, 2, 3 candles. So we'll take the low, which is right there. So these 3 candles, 1, 2, 3, created this fair value gap. The lowest part of that is right there. That's where the stop is. TP. 23%. Let's see, this is February the 16th. We're going into Friday, next day. Let's pause real quick. Let's just jump back over to our charts. Live charts here. We'll just roll through. Nothing happening still. All right, we're good. Nothing going on. Boring day. All right, this is Friday, this is February 17th, and we are looking. So there's a 7 o'clock candle. There is your first fair value gap created right there. You can go and test this on multiple pairs. Try GU, try gold. I mean, you can try this on anything. This is EU from the beginning of this year. Yesterday, I can't remember what it was. What is it, like 12% or 13% for January? I can't remember. And now we're up to 23% since the beginning of January. There's your violation. 1, 2, 3 candles, which is the swing low, also low of the day. And we'll look to get in there. Triggered in, TP. 26%. I just saw these news about Bespoke. They're not going anywhere. I'm not sure where you saw that, but not accurate. I love inverted fair value gaps. I don't have much clue on inverted fair value gap. I'm used to normal fair value gap. Going there soon. Lee Rodwell, I've seen you mention inverted fair value, but never known what they are. It's just a violated PD array. So once a PD array is violated, any retest of that will lend support or resistance in the opposite direction. That's all. Inverted order block is a breaker block, right? And an inverted fair value gap is just, it's, again, the theory behind an inverted fair value gap is that it's a breaker block on a lower time frame, because you're getting displacement is a run of liquidity. And then when that gets violated in the opposite direction, there's a breaker somewhere down there on that lower time frame. We're just not going down there to find them. We're just using the fair value gap itself as an indication that displacement has taken place. This should have respected, this price should have been held down like it was here. See how this fair value gap price respected it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. Then once it was violated, you can immediately assume any retest of that is going to push price away in the opposite direction. That's the technical theory behind this strategy. This is your new strategy, what you mentioned. Yeah, I've been working on this for a little while, and this is where it is currently. It did not start here, but this is where I've gotten to. And this is where we're at. So I'm still trying to figure out whether I want to use 10-minute or 15-minute time frames for the fair value gaps. 10 minutes seems to be where it works the best for me. Also, I've not traded it across multiple pairs. 1.5 gives me the highest percentage win rate. 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 also are decent, but you don't get as many winners. But you can hold trades a little bit longer. For instance, this trade keeps going up. And so these are profits that if you were holding for a 1 to 2, that would have hit. If you were holding for a 1 to 3, it didn't quite get there. I don't know if it does. It does. So that could have been a 1 to 3 trade. So this is the part of back testing that I'm happy with the 1 to 5 or 1 to 1.5, but I'm also knowing I'm potentially giving up larger moves that this little inverted fair value gap could have caught. So this is all part of the back testing. You have to go back and you have to look at the data. You have to do this all the way through multiple time frames, multiple RRs, multiple win rates, multiple losing streaks, et cetera, all the way through this. You have to figure it out. So this is why it takes so long to build out a strategy when you're backtesting. You can't just backtest a month, get 8 trades and go, all right, let's go to the live market tomorrow. That's idiocy. It takes a long time to build out this strategy correctly, to know what your specific rule set is going to be. But we're honing in. We're getting there. FX Replay is free. They have a free trial. I think it's a 1-week free trial. And then it's, I don't know what it is, $30 a month or something. But you can do this on TradingView. You're just going to have to keep track of your trades. You're going to have to keep track of your trades manually, basically, and keep the data. This just does it for you. You're just paying for the luxury of using their software to track all of your dashboard stuff. We'll get to the end of February here. We're approaching the end of February. I'll show you the stats and what it looks like. It's a 2-phase challenge pass, 8% payout in 6 weeks. Yep. 2% per trade is what I'm doing right now. There's no daily bias involved with this strategy at all, Matthew. It is purely mechanical. It is purely 100% mechanical. There is nothing to do except wait for the pattern to show itself, execute the trade, and then there's no break-even point. That's the other part of this. If you were doing like a 1 to 2, maybe you move to break-even at 1 to 1 or 1 to 1.5. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with this strategy to test it out. I'm telling you right now, 1.5, you're going to leave some of these profits on the table at 1.5, but you're going to consistently win more, and you're going to have a higher win rate. So you've got to decide, and you got to backtest your own strategy, what works best for you. Yeah, it's hard to do it when you're doing it manually on your own, keeping track of it on paper and pen or computer and Excel spreadsheet or whatever it is. It's if you have the ability to pay for it, it is really nice and it does make it a lot easier and faster for sure. Oh, it says pretty much alpha, but I incorporate the Asian range also. I mainly trade London. Fairly sure Brad is just testing New York. I'm only doing New York. I'm not doing anything in the Asia. This may work in the London session. I don't know. I like the high win rate. It's just better for my psychology. That's why I go 1 to 1.5. And when I get to 1R, I move to break even. First 5 days are free, yes. All right, let's keep going. New York session here. Coming into the news, so we'll pause here in just a minute and see what kind of volatility we get on the unemployment number news here in about 3 minutes or so. All right, Monday, new week, February 20th. This is where we're starting, waiting for a fair value gap to form. There's one. There's the violation of said fair value gap. We would take a test of this fair value gap here. It was created on 1, 2, 3 candles. So we'll take the low of that where that was created. We'll place our order. There's another fair value gap here, but if this one gets violated, we'll already get triggered in on this order. So this fair value gap here, while it's something to watch, if it gets violated through, we're not going to switch because we will have already been triggered in on the long off of the first fair value gap, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is if we get triggered in and it trades through this fair value gap, we're not going to cancel that order and then go short. The first fair value gap that gets violated is the one that we get an entry on. That's the one we're taking. So I'm going to take that box off, even though that is a fair value gap. It overlaps the one that just got violated. We're triggered in. TP. 29%. $7 a.m. candle, Tuesday, February 21st. This is the 7 a.m. candle. That we're not going to take that fair value gap. It needs to be after the 7 a.m. candle. So this candle is the first candle we can use for a fair value gap. So there's the first fair value gap after the 7 a.m. candle is printed. Okay. There's the violation. We take the high, which is here. 1, 2, 3 candles is the high. 1.5. Stop loss. 27%. News way over here on this Wednesday. This is FOMC minutes. We can take a trade in the morning because it'll be well out of the way before 11 a.m. or before that. So it's fine. There's no news in this morning. There's your 7 a.m. candle. There's your first fair value gap. There's your second fair value gap. Is that a fair value gap? I think that is a baby fair value gap. Looks like they're touching, actually. I'm not going to call that a fair value gap. What time is that? 9:40. There's the violation. It is 10:20. It's kind of late, but there's the high of the candles that created the fair value gap that was violated. We will see what happens. Triggered in TP. All right. Well, that worked out. 30%, just over 30%. All right, news just hit, so let's just pause this real quick. Let's jump back over here. Euro dollar, the news came out. Let's see, the numbers were unemployment claims. They were forecasting 211. They were a little bit lower, but not significantly lower. Not a crazy miss. You're getting a little bit of a pullback here on euro dollar, pound dollar. GJ is not doing anything. Pound Aussie's not doing anything. UJ's not doing anything. So still a whole big mess of nothing. We'll have to wait and see if there's anything over the next 15 minutes. So we're good to go. We can keep rolling here. We'll keep rolling. This is go to the next day. We are Thursday, February 23rd. We have GDP, so we will wait until after that news hits. We'll just print candles until news. There's the news. So now we will wait for a fair value gap to be violated, or to print after the news. So here's the news candle. No fair value gaps yet. There's a fair value gap, and it is 10:40. Nope. So there's the fair value gap. It's 10:50. It's 11. No trade. No news on this Friday, February 24th. So we will wait for a fair value. There's the candle. We're waiting for a fair value gap after that candle. There's one right there. That's the fair value gap the first fair value gap that is an opportunity to, there must have been a news that just wasn't listed here at 8:30. Another fair value gap here. $9.40. $10.11. No trade. Next day. This is Monday, February 27th, coming into the last couple of days of February, and then we'll pause. Hey, it's supposed to, hold on, guys. Yeah, I'll get them out hopefully before it starts raining. I told you. Very dark. 7 a.m. There's news at 8:30. Durable goods, non-defense capital orders. This is not. I'm not. I'm gonna trade through that. Fair value gap. Did not close through. A wick is fine. There's the news did hit and it was actually quite volatile. So you can just keep trading. You can just keep drawing out those fair value gaps as they get created. What time is it? 9:50, so we still have a little time. What time is that? 11, no trade. So it's 11 o'clock, no trade. All right, last day of, this is February 28th, the last day of February. No news. So we can just wait for a fair value gap to be printed. There's the 7. Is that a fair value gap? It is. Middle baby. Tiny, tiny baby gap. There it is. Raining? It's already started. It's a little early. Stop loss. All right, took a loss on the last day. All right, so we're at 28%. So we'll go back now and we'll go to our dashboard. We're going to take a look at the analytics so far. So this is from the beginning of January 2023. It's actually not the very beginning of January. It's the second week of January. I would not trade that first week. I know the markets are open. I did not start until January the 9th. That first full Monday after the full week of January is open. So the analytics for what we have so far is a 28% account growth, a nearly 60% win rate. We've had 27 trades. We've won 16. We've lost 11. Your average risk reward is 1.5. Your ideal, again, is 6.28. And the best trade that you could have, if you had held, would have been a 1 to 21. If you had held that all the way out. That doesn't really mean anything. You're never going to do that. But it's the maximum RR you could have had on a winning trade that you took. Here we go. So just more information. The max win streak is 4 in a row. The max losing streak is 2 in a row, which is really spectacular. It's only 27 trades, so don't get too excited about that just yet. Okay, we need to get at least 100. Here is your best winning day is Monday. Your worst day is Tuesday on both losing and taking profits. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are almost identical on win rate and your losses. So Tuesdays, it seems, are not super good so far. And then you can see January's days up here, and you can see February's days down here. And then as you go forward, we did 11% in January and 15.5% in February for 28% total. So, I mean, it's pretty solid. We're just getting into it though, so we're at February. We can keep going, but again, this is just euro dollar. I'm just showing you where we're at currently on this strategy. And there's going to be months that are not this good. You're starting off with 2 fantastic months with this strategy. That does not mean it's going to continue to be. I would not anticipate it being. There's going to be a red month. I promise you, there's going to be a red month. Not every month it's going to be 10 or 15%, but imagine making 10 or 15% in a couple of months, or 28% in 2 months. And then if you had 2 red months, you just made 28%. And if you were trading a max funded account, I think you're going to be okay. All right. Euro dollar getting some displacement down after we've grabbed that liquidity. Pound getting displacement down after we've run liquidity. You might have a good setup here. GJ not displacing lower yet. I would have wanted to see displace below that low. GA no displacement. Dollar yen. So potentially, depending on how the next candle closes, will help you determine where you're looking, if you want to get short, where that might be. For me, this run of liquidity here began off of this down close candle right here. So I'm going to want to see displacement below that low there. And the next 15-minute candle is going to tell us whether that's going to work or not. For GU, this run of liquidity above these highs, that run started down here. The lowest down close candle, I would take these right here. So that's what I'd be looking for. I need that next 15-minute candle to print, and then you might be able to have an opportunity to go short here, potentially. I don't know that I want to trade today, only because we're in a choppy range, and I would anticipate any movement into sell side or buy side is just going to ram price back into these ranges. Once it taps into sell side, it runs back in the range. Once it taps into, or buy side, once it taps into the opposite side, it runs back into the range. So I'm not going to be super aggressive with this. I would be very cautious on taking a entry out of this range. I would prefer to see GJ or GA displace, and it's just not doing that. It's not participating. Don't let Goldman Sachs find out 30% in 2 months. No, I just gave you a strat that you can. I just handed it to you in the last 2 days. So if you go out and create your own community and start selling your own private course, and you hawk my inverted fair value gap strategy, I'm going to sue you. It is technically copyrighted because it's live recorded here on the stream, dated, timed. The Venator Trading inverted fair value gap strategy. No bias needed. Purely 100% completely mechanical strategy. There is no discretion at all. I tried to come up with a strategy that removed basically all discretion. The only discretion is that a fair value gap. And that's a pretty clear yes or no answer. Other than that, the stop loss goes where it's supposed to. The fair value gap goes where it's supposed to. I mean, the take profit goes where it's supposed to. You have to decide which red folder news events you're willing to trade through and which ones you're not. Beyond that, it's enough for you to go and back test on your own and refine further, or it's enough for you to go into a live market. I'm not ready to go to a live market with it yet. I want to go through a few more pairs to see. I've done GU, I've done EU. I want to do GJ. I want to try gold. I want to try the indices. I want to see how it works on those. And I still want to. I want to play with the risk reward ratio a little bit more. I want to see what, like 1.75. Would that make a difference between 1.5 and 1 to 2? Would 1.75 give a better win rate? Would it dramatically increase the percentage gains? All these kinds of things. I don't want to just start messing with that once I'm in the live market. Once I go to the live market, I want to stick to the strategy until I have 100 trades in the live market. Then make tweaks from there. So back testing all of that, because it's purely mechanical, you can back test it a lot quicker. There's not a lot of, since there's no discretion involved, no daily bias needed, no structure. You're not trading structure. You're just trading violation of a PD array. That's it. That's the whole thing. Super, super simple. And what time frame works best? 10 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 5 minute, 8 minute, 6 minute. I mean, you could get crazy with all of the different refinements to make on this. Or maybe it's a violation of a fair value gap on the 30-minute time frame, and then you drop down to a 5-minute time frame and look for a breaker block. I mean, there's all kinds of things to do to clean up your system and your trading plan. Won't be working that shot much longer. The payouts you're getting, yeah, for sure. GeoFX, okay, I'm seeing you quitting that job, focusing on trading. I enjoy it, to be honest, so I'll probably stick around until I finish college. Also takes pressure on my trading. Exactly. Having a job, I mean, yeah, it's great if you could have a full-time income trading, but listen, the pressure that you're going to put on yourself to reach that point, to just completely leave a 9 to 5 or any other income, that is putting massive mental pressure on yourself. This is why people have asked me, when should I go full time? For me, there's no way I'm going full time trading until I have 2 years minimum of my 9 to 5 salary cash liquid in the bank. I want 2 full years on top of my just personal savings, right? Like my emergency fund, my retirement, my whatever all those things are. I need 2 full years. That's my watermark. When I have 2 full years cash liquid in the bank of my full-time day job, that's when I would be most comfortable going to trading full-time. So that's my watermark. Some people are like, oh, if I have 6 months full-time income, I'm quitting. That's a little shady. I don't think that's enough. A year is probably more like, if you had 1 full year cash liquid reserves of your full-time job in the bank, that means if trading just completely crapped the bed, you could live 1 full year trying to recover and get better at trading. You could still have a full year. That's not enough for me. I want 2 full years cushion in the bank before I would ever consider trading full time. Here's the other thing. I hate being idle. I don't like sitting around doing nothing. I also love the job I'm in, working at the church that I'm at. Like, I love doing what I'm doing. I don't want to not stop doing that. I feel this kind of personal calling to be involved with that. So I love it. So even if I had those funds and I hit my watermark, I'm not sure I would quit. I think we're designed and created to be productive people. We're most fulfilled and finding purpose in our life when we're building and creating things. Now, it doesn't have to be the full-time job you're in, and maybe full-time trading allows you to do something that you can do all of that as well. But don't just think you're going to be a full-time trader and then think, I've got all this money, I don't have to do anything, I can just be on vacation the rest of my life. I promise you, you're going to be miserable. It looks fun, it sounds fun, but it's not going to be fulfilling for you to have all this quote unquote money and all the time in the world and just have fun all the time. You're not going to be fulfilled, I promise you. It might be fun for a little while, but it's going to run out. It may take 6 months, it may take a year, it may take 5 years, but you're going to become miserable living like that, I promise you. You need to be productive. You need to be building something. You need to be creating something. You need to be helping and serving. And it's just the way we're wired. It's the way God designed us. We're not meant to be idle and just chase pleasure all of the time. Hats off to you for working college and trading. Yep. It was my strat first, Minotaur. We never actually talked. Let's be honest. I did not invent inverted fair value gap strategies. It is not like my strategy. So not claiming it to be mine. All I've done is taken some concepts and refined them down to a rule set that I've been working on. So it can be I'm fine with it being the Owen Dinan inverted fair value gap strategy. John, if you could sue for people copying your strategy, then several people would have sued ICT, at least however many PD arrays ICT says he has, would be how many lawsuits he'd be fighting. Very accurate. Just because you call it something different doesn't mean that's your thing, because you named it a different name. It says, yeah, I hate being idle too. I have great fun in my job with my friends, so I really don't mind it. I mean, trading takes 2 hours every day in the morning for me. And then I have literally the rest of the day to be doing other things that are productive. And it doesn't have to be the job I'm in. I'm not saying that. Like, don't just stay at that job. Go find a different job. Go do something you love. Even if you're not making as much money, at least do something, do the thing that you want to do because you have the time freedom to do it. And if it can also help you monetarily, awesome. And if it doesn't, and you're just doing it out of pure enjoyment, then do that. But don't just sit around and chase pleasure your whole life. That's not how we're intended to live. Also doing farming. Wow, cool. Euro dollar getting no follow through. Again, it's grab and sell side just popping up. GU grab and sell side popping back up. If this 15-minute candle does not close outside of this range, I would not even consider this to go short here. And again, because we're just chopping, typically in a chop, heading into a news event, any liquidity grab above an old high or low typically is just going to send you back into the range. So again, this is why I'm probably not taking any trades today. I was hoping GJ or GA would play out, but it doesn't look like they want to play with us. I got to send a couple quick text messages real quick, guys. Hold on. Oh, I hate it when I'm on iMessages and I go to text a message to someone that I have to answer their question, and I'm on my computer and it comes up green. Now I have to get my phone and I can't do it off of my computer. Oh, why can't everybody just have an iPhone? It makes life so much easier. Malawi. Where is that? That's Africa. It's got to be Africa, right? I don't even know how do you say that. Malawi? Is it Malawi? Am I saying that right? East Africa. Oh, it's right by Mozambique. I was supposed to go to Mozambique in November. I'm not going now, but bordered by Zambia to the northwest, Tanzania to the northeast, and Mozambique to the south. Highlands split by the Great Rift Valley and enormous Lake Malawi. The lake's southern end falls within Lake Malawi National Park, sheltering diverse wildlife from colorful fish to baboons, and its clear waters are popular for diving and boating. Peninsular Cape Maclear is known for its beach resorts. Looks beautiful. I'm always surprised by our African contingent here, that we have quite a large African Venator family. I love it. Too hot. Malawi is in East Africa. Hit that lucky like button. Let's go. Thank you, John, for the shout out. Gold finding some displacement lower here. You had this some runs of liquidity here. See here, Euro just pulling back in after grabbing that sell side. This is what I was talking about. On these chop days like this is what you anticipate. Any runs of liquidity on choppy days ahead of news, you're not probably going to get the displacement you think you are. It's just creating and engineering more liquidity for the news event. So, all right, I think that's pretty good for today, y'all. Good stream. I'm not really anticipating anything more to happen. We'll do some more FX replay tomorrow. Feel free to jump on and do your own back testing. Take that strategy, see how it works. I'd be interested to see. I've not tested it on cross pairs like Euro Yen or Euro Aussie or Pound Aussie, or I'd be interested to see if someone wants to go on and try to do that. Would love to see how that plays out. Don't just use my data. Use your own data. Don't just take the numbers that I have. You go in, you back test it, you do the work. You need to learn to see it and identify it and execute it. But we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. We'll do March if we have time. It is NFP. We'll be doing our 10K account giveaway tomorrow, probably at 9 a.m. But I'll let you guys know for sure as the live stream starts, and I'll put it in Discord as well. So appreciate you guys being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Happy hunting. And we'll catch you guys in the morning. Adios, guys.